morning. Good morning to our viewers. Welcome. Good morning, Pedro. Welcome,
Good morning.
viewers. Good morning to all our viewers who came to coffee time. Today is another wonderful morning in Miami. Pedro, how is it in Fort Lauderdale?
It's beautiful. It's awesome. Yeah.
Just for our viewers or listeners, actually, because we do put this, as an audio podcast on Podbean. We have it also on Google Podcast and Amazon Music. For those of you who don't know, you can also download them over there and listen on the go. So thank you for our returning audiences and viewers and listeners. If we have any new visitors, make sure to put a hands up or a thumbs up in the chat so we know you are new. We welcome you with open arms. We love having more and more viewers. Also, I want to encourage everyone to please subscribe to the channel that you are watching us on, whether it's LinkedIn Live or Facebook or YouTube. We go live every Thursday at 10 a.m. Eastern to bring you the newest and the latest accounting, tax, finance, and business strategies. So, with that brief intro about myself, my name is Marie Torossian. I'm a certified public accountant and a chartered global management accountant, an experienced auditor, and a CFO. I'm the creator of a methodology called Valuation MT, which is a registered process. And I use that process to help my clients that have reached their first million to get to their 10 million and more. I'm also the author of a couple of books. The first one is a free ebook that you can download yourself. It is called the Complete Guide to Operational Accounting. The second one is also a guide. I love guides, by the way. And the other one is the Complete Guide to Business Growth. And I'll put both links in the chat for you to be able to download or purchase. Also, I wanted to invite you all to join me on Clubhouse. I still have another 5 sessions to go. I've done 7 sessions, which is part of discussing the methodology I mentioned, Valuation MT. Yesterday, actually, we talked about how to trim down costs. So if you're thinking about whether you have too many expenses happening in your business, feel free to go back to Clubhouse. There's a replay saved there. You can listen to the conversation and all the tips that I gave you there over there. Of course, I'd like to introduce my featured guest, my friend and my tax colleague, Pedro Gonzalez, CPA. Good morning, Pedro.
Good morning. Good morning, Marie. Good morning, everybody. Pedro Gonzalez, CPA, business and tax strategist. I have the free ebook on real estate investment strategies. Well received so far. I think it has good information. And it goes with a 7-day e-course on additional information on real estate investing. And we added a newsletter for those that do download the ebook. You'll start receiving a powerful newsletter that will continue giving you some tips, especially with everything that is happening, the changes in the economy and the tax rules, so you stay ahead of the game. We're working on the S Corporation ebook. I believe that it's going to be a very practical guide for those that formed S corporations in addressing some of the questions that come up. And this is what I did is I gone through, over 20 some plus years on this journey, and some of the questions that come up that many times is not addressed on the books that you see out there. They're either very technical or very basic. So what I'm doing is putting some of the areas that the reader will be able to find very useful, very practical into their day-to-day business operations.
That's awesome, Pedro. That is awesome, and I'm going to be running the banner right on the bottom right now. Here we go. Download Pedro's ebook. Of course, by the way, I forgot to say Happy St. Patrick's Day. I'm wearing my little green hat. Yes. I got my green shirt and a little thingy here on my I don't know what you call it. Definitely every St. Patrick's Day I become Irish for the day, but most of the year I am Armenian. So
That's a good one.
Yes, yes, yes. And by the way, I love culture. I love learning from other cultures, and
Yeah,
even though I say that, I do celebrate other cultures as well. On Cinco de Mayo, I become a Mexican, of course, and
there you go. There
I,
you go.
I'm all about celebrating culture. Last week, actually Sunday, I was on at the festival at Calle Ocho. Celebrating Latin culture here in South Florida.
Awesome. Yeah, there you go.
Yes, yes, actually, it was really, really great experience as well. So, for those of you visiting Miami, if you come down during March, you might be able to see that festival yourself. So, again,
Yes.
just a side note, has nothing to do with our live show per se, but just
No, but
I
it's
being
part
in
of.
South Florida, I have to
Yeah,
promote it. You know what I mean? I got to do it.
exactly. That's
So, just a quick recap of some of the stuff we've talked about in the past episodes. We've talked about self-employment. We've talked about tax due dates, which we will have to mention a few new ones today. We've talked about partnerships. We've talked about buy-sell agreements. Uh, the past few weeks, we actually recently talked about entrepreneurial mindset. We did two sessions on that. And then last week we talked about financial analysis. That became a really cool conversation. We
yeah.
almost went off, beyond 30 minutes. So today we really didn't have a conversation until we met this morning, and we, with the newest news, right? With the interest rate changes. So you brought that up, and I said, "Hey, Pedro, let's talk about that." So let's open it up with what is this newest news that just got released? Tell us about it.
Well, we've been talking about in always preparation, and I think that's part of the strategies on entrepreneurship is always, planning, strategizing with everything that is happening now. We have as probably everybody has felt, is the inflation. We have
Hmm.
seen the discussions of increases in taxation. So,
Yeah.
in addition to that, or as a reaction to yesterday, the Feds announced the reduction or increase in the tax rate, the Fed's tax rate, as a trying to put a control over the inflation. Now, typically, and this is what you and I were discussing, is I think that the what we're gonna experience is potentially a negative effect, and the reason is because in the past, inflation usually is correlated with high production. There's a lot of spending, there's a lot of money
Right.
flowing,
Right.
but we just came from the COVID era. I mean, the
Yes.
2 years of COVID, and during that period of time, people in essence received a lot of influx of stimulus payments. Businesses received also some stimulus through the PPP, EIDLs, and but when you look at GDP, what is it that we're producing as a nation? We're really not producing more. So all of this inflation has been caused by the pumping of money into the economy. People are using those dollars to to spend it. You know what I mean? But it's not
Hmm.
spent because I earned it. Therefore, there was a production of products and services. It's simply I was handed some dollars and I went out
Yeah.
and spent it. So the pumping of those dollars, and yeah, it's going to cost inflation, but it's not caused by production. And
Absolutely.
so, if you recall, back in about August of 2020, you know what I mean, and it didn't make sense. Retail uh, reporting high sales in the midst of all of these COVID. I mean, it's like, how can that be? Well, because people were getting their stimulus payments, so they had
Right.
monies, and then on top of that, there was the moratorium. I mean, if you
Hmm.
recall, there was the no eviction.
Right.
Then the
Right.
banks worked out a deal with landlords not to have to pay the mortgages. So basically, there was an illusion of prosperity because all of a sudden I have these dollars. I don't have to pay my rent because I'm not going to get evicted. So what do? I go
Right.
and spend it. You know what I mean? So So it pumped money into the economy when the we were going through all the situation of the COVID. Well, all of these is going away. So there's no more stimulus. There's no more now. In some states, they're already starting to create situations of evictions.
Hmm.
Banks are going to go after those mortgages that has not been paid. You have high inflation, and then you have high interest rate that's going to start. They're even mentioned 6 times they're going to probably raise it this year. Um, so all of that sounds it is negative, but the reason I wanted to discuss this because as business owners, uh, freaking out or freezing is not the action, is not the
Right.
right
Right.
mindset.
Absolutely.
Okay, you're aware of that, so how do I strategize to combat that?
Yeah.
What I mean? So
Absolutely.
it is important to be aware of, but freezing, panicking is not going to be the answer. You have to now, more than ever, strategize. Okay, so how do I combat this? Last meeting we discussed, when we were discussing the ratios and all of that, and
Yes.
we mentioned gross profit. One
Yes.
that we mentioning directly is the unit cost. You know what I mean? How many times you see businesses that have no idea how much that it costs them to either produce one
Yeah.
unit uh, or how much of the unit cost of their inventory.
Yes.
Because if you don't know that, how do I price it? And so now in the middle of all this is happening, how do
Right.
you properly price your product so then you can, in essence, overtake your market? So then you can still be uh, cash flowing properly, even
Hmm.
though your prices, your costs are going up. But then how, at what point, to what point I can adjust my sell price, so
Right.
then I can address the situation that is being happening around me, which is a higher taxes. I'm going to have higher inflation, so it's
Yes.
going to cost me more now to borrow. So then how I'm going to combat all this, so then I can still, in essence, take over the market. My philosophy has been that in the midst of all these challenges, there's opportunity.
Of course.
So
Yeah.
it's how you prepare yourself, your mindset. So then, how do I turn this into an opportunity? There's opportunity out there in the middle of all of this is happening: the war, interest rates,
Yes.
inflation, rise of interest of taxes. There's opportunities out there. You just have to grab it.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. And then something you said about, and we were talking about this briefly, is the not panicking and not freezing, right? So, from our personal experiences, we've had certain, we've lived certain difficulties in our personal lives, when as we're
Right.
as children as well, and however much it's difficult to realize, okay, all the prices are going. We are business owners as well,
Mhm.
and we have to feed our families as
Yeah,
well.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
we have the same type of fears, of course. However, what we don't want to do is let fear control us. And instead of doing that, one of our strengths is that because we are in the accounting and finance and tax world, we are looking at our numbers constantly. We are
Right.
looking at what our pricing strategies are. What are we going to change? How are we going to move forward? How are we going to react? If you're not looking at your numbers all the time, and that's when you freeze and you panic because you have no idea what to do. But if you're actually set a budget or something, that the least thing you can do is set yourself a budget and say, okay, in the toughest times, this is the worst case scenario. This is what could be if I lose this or lose that, or if I don't lose this, or where's my opportunity, like that. These are the types of analysis business owners should be working on with their accounting team or accountant or tax accountant, whoever they have with them, to help them out. CPA advisors, that's exactly what they do, and that's what
Mhm.
I feel that this is the area we love working on, is to
Right.
really guide business owners through this type of uncertainties and real craziness in the world happening at the same time.
Mhm. Yeah.
So yeah, absolutely, I'm with you on that.
Yeah, and we were talking about our own experiences in how we add that to what we're doing, especially in moments like this.
Yes.
We can help the business owners is understand that there's a way out. You know what I mean? And if we can set, if we can stay focused um, and seek within ourselves. I mean, there's a way to combat this. We just
Yes.
have to stay focused. It's almost like going to a war room. You know what I mean? And then
Yeah.
how do you battle? Because now
Yes.
you have all these factors out there that could
Yes.
cripple your business. I mean, I'm not going
Absolutely.
to lie to you. If you sit there and do nothing, it will cripple your business.
Hmm.
This is not a good combination coming all at the same time. You know what I mean?
Yes.
All of these different factors coming at the same time. Yeah, one is when you have a strong economy flowing with opportunities, money flowing,
Right.
and you raise a tax rate. Well, you know,
Right.
as long as a business is but when you have really that we're not producing as much, we have
Exactly.
a slowdown really in the flow of money from production, not because of the treasury pumping money, but we
Right.
have all of these factors. If you sit there and just simply, well, Marie, you know what? I'm just gonna sit here and see what happens. I mean, you know,
Yeah.
you most likely will be absorbed or stepped over by somebody else that is sitting over there strategizing right now. If you're not strategizing right now, your competitor is.
Yes. I love that. I love that you said that because those who are going to find the opportunities in these hardships are going to be the ones that are actually strategizing. They're in the war room. They are planning. They're thinking through all the possibilities, the different
Correct.
scenarios that things could go, and what that future looks like, and where is that best opportunity. And of course, for each business owner, it might be something different. So we can't give you here an exact, advice. It has
Right.
to be one on one, but in general, that's what's going to happen. And if someone who's helping a business owner with their strategy and advice on how to move forward, look at their numbers, analyze those numbers, and see what the market looks like. Those are the people that are going to succeed in this difficult
Yeah.
times.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep. Yep.
and others are just going to close doors. And like we were talking earlier too, the fact that in the past 2 years with a lot of stimulus checks, people just having this extra income, or
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
false security of like, oh, I'm being helped. I think has also changed certain mindsets, and without becoming too political here, because I don't want to do that, but
Yeah. Yeah.
just just from a standpoint, and you see business owners having a hard time finding people that they can rely on. They're requiring more funding to just to make people come in to work. So that's additional cost for a business owner too. So how do you go around that to make sure you are building a team that is not just about the money that they're going to make, which is important, but also a different way of like bringing them into the fold and letting them see the visions, letting them see the opportunity of where your business can go. So they have they are part of it. They're helping you get there as well. So there's just so many different things working against the business owners right now. So many different things, so many challenges.
Yeah, no, there are out there. You know, what I mean, and again, I'm not trying to undermine the situation. I understand that the fact that some people might be right now concerned,
Yeah.
fear, is understandable. And and being an entrepreneur, it does not absolve you from fear. I mean, we like you said, we are concerned. Our independent businesses. We're looking at, okay, how do we're doing the same thing we're discussing right now,
Right.
is we're doing it ourselves, and we have to strategize. We have to, how do we reposition ourselves
Yes.
so then we can continue, in essence, taking more of the market share. You know what I mean? That we're doing what we're advising our client, because we want to be
Yes.
here, not only here today, but 10 years from now at a higher and stronger position. We know that there's opportunities out there in the midst of all of these challenges. There is opportunities. We just have to position ourselves to battle through this, in essence, through this storm. So then when the storm passes, we're still standing, and we can
Yes.
continue then taking our part, even bigger share of the market. And that's again goes back to what you have been doing through your different, either your books and your trainings and your podcasts, is mindset.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. Mindset. I mean, for me, on a personal level, and I don't mind sharing this, I grew up in Lebanon, and, most of my childhood was in war. So when I see certain things happening right now, for me, it doesn't really scare me as much, I would say. And I think that's one of my strengths, because there's a lot of things that could happen that doesn't really scare me, because I've lived such a difficult
Yeah,
life under war. So all I try to do is just, and also with my faith, I just continue my mindset is every morning I'm committed to keeping
yeah,
my mind clear. I focus on my devotionals. I get my mind ready for the day.
Yeah.
And whatever it is, our business owners, and sometimes this is what you said, sometimes we are becoming the, you know, psychologists to our business owner friends, and to help them go through this is that you have to find your way, whatever it is yours, your way to either read books that help you stay motivated, stay focused, work with CPAs and other advisors that can help you stay focused mindset wise. Because if your mind is distracted, you are
Right.
completely failing. You're failing. And this is not one of those that you fail and learn type of thing. It's going to be like, you're going to close your business down and you're going to have to make other
Yeah.
choices.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it is the only way, especially right now. You know what I mean? I know you and I have been talking about this for a while, about the mindset, about strategies, about the accounting, the importance of accounting in especially moments like this.
Yeah.
People, again, it gets underappreciated, but it is essential for any business, regardless of the how can you set up a pricing strategy for your product if you do not know the unit cost?
Yes.
I don't understand it. I mean, is how can that? Oh well, you look at your competitor, but you don't know your competitor's production cost. So how can
Right.
you set up your pricing based on the competitor's price?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It has
Yeah.
to be based on what costs you. You know what I mean? So that's why I keep pushing on the accounting. The value that accounting brings to you if it's used properly. Now,
Yes.
if you're simply punching numbers on the QuickBooks so you can get your tax filing done, then yes, you're not using accounting properly. But if you use properly, we discuss
Right.
forecasting, financial ratios that you can use, and that's what right now in moments like this is what you ought to be doing. Looking at those numbers, what can we do to combat the situation that we're going through right now? You know what I mean? How can we stay strong during the storm?
Yes, yes, I definitely. And actually, yesterday, part of the conversation, as we were talking about trimming down costs, is I had mentioned, part of that, you have to look at maybe your vendors, right? Your vendor
Yeah, yeah,
contracts, right? So
yeah,
you want to
correct.
look at that and see if there's another vendor that can, provide the same product, same quality of the product at maybe a little bit at a better pricing. You're going to consider whether shipping versus flight is going to be
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
better
Oh,
for you. There's all
correct,
these different types of analysis that you have to do. This is only, we're talking only for inventory that you're ordering,
correct.
for you to sell. This is just, considering that you're in a retail base, you're selling products. Um, if you are manufacturing, for example, you want to see if you're how much you're still able to manufacture with the cost of the units that are coming in, the cost of labor that you're allocating to the product cost, right? So there's the
Correct,
cost
correct,
accounting
correct.
that we've taken, we do into. These are the things that you want to look at on details. This is not just basic accounting we're talking about. This is beyond. This is more analysis, financial analysis, cost accounting, where we're looking at real cost of the units produced, the real cost of the product you are purchasing to sell, and how you can increase your profit margins with that. This is where you're going to have the opportunity of doing better than your competitor,
Yeah,
hopefully, and not just doing worse.
correct. No, and you bring up a good point. I mean, about the vendors. I mean, it doesn't mean that you have to replace a current vendor, but as a minimum, having a conversation with your current
Yes,
vendor, especially if you have had a strong relationship with your vendor, to work out, in essence, an alliance. I mean, that your
yes,
vendor also needs you. You know
yes,
what I mean? You need your
exactly.
vendor, but the vendor also needs you. You are a customer to that vendor, so coming to them in essence, as a partnership. You're my partner in my success. How can you and I work out something, especially during these times that we're going
Yes,
through, so then both of us stay strong during this storm. I want to continue buying from you, but I need maybe either better terms. I need whatever.
right,
You know what I mean?
right,
So
right.
looking at all of those possibilities, so then you can handle the situation, meeting with your bankers, if you have investors, meeting with your investors. I mean, all of that is critical, but you have to go back to them with something solid. You cannot just simply go to a bank and simply tell them,
Right.
listen, Mr. or Mrs. Banker, I need you to lower the interest rate, or give, why? Based on what? How are you going to repay me? You know, I mean, what is
Of
the
course.
sweet, what is the deal here for? Because they also need something in return.
Of
You know what I
course.
mean? Your vendor is going to require something in return. What is it you're going to do in essence for them? And so you have to have, again, goes back to numbers. You know what I mean? This world of business moves on numbers. You know what I mean? You
Oh, yeah.
cannot be so, naive that you have to be able to bring something tangible, and that is numbers. You know what I mean? Either be increased sales, it's going to be increased orders. How many? This is going to represent X dollars for you if you do this deal for me. Something like that they can grab on and say, listen, that makes sense. Let's make it happen.
Yes, yes. And we said this before too, when we've talked, at different occasions, is that most, business owners, unfortunately, they do not see this area of accounting and finance as something that's talked about. And I think it's part of maybe it's a bad on our industry representatives that are not representing it well.
Mm.
But that's why we are doing this, because we want to bring that, understanding and the education to the business owner, saying there's much more to accounting than just bookkeeping and doing taxes.
Yeah.
There's just so much analysis that a small business owner does not do and does not have the knowledge that it needs to be done, versus that's why you see the big corporations have a whole department that does
Correct.
financial
Exactly.
analysis
Yeah.
all day long. Not just an accounting department. They have an accounting department, they have the reporting, they have the financial analysis. They're different departments, and that's why they can grow globally, while the small business owner in their little location have no idea what to do in these type of circumstances. So
Yeah.
that's why we bring this kind of information to our business owners.
Yeah. Yeah, but the same information is available to the small business owner. I mean,
Yeah,
there's an investment that will have to make,
of
but
course.
it is available. Yeah, I mean, you just have to tap into your accountant, your CPA, and encourage. Have the same conversation that you will have with your vendors. Sit down with your CPA. Now's the moment to sit
Yeah,
down and say, listen, I need you to be, in essence, my business advisor, not just my bookkeeper. How can
mhm,
I grow my business? Where is my money going? We need to now plug the different holes, and even those
yeah,
small leaks that sometimes we ignore because they're small. We can live with that. My boat is still over water, and I have this little leak. But now is a moment that you need to probably start plugging those small leaks and make sure that
yeah.
your business is solid. So looking into that, and I hope if you're not having that access to that information, that you can reach out to us, and we will help you address those areas.
Yes. And of course, we are always happy to collaborate with other, CPAs. If you have a tax CPA that only does your taxes, but you would like us to help you with financial analysis and really helping guide you where your boat is heading, really navigate your boat the proper way.
Yeah.
We can help you with that, working with your tax CPA. No worries about that. So, we are here to help all business owners succeed. And did you want to give us, some updates on the next text deadlines? Because I know we're getting close to the 30
Yeah.
minute mark.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
just in case anyone missed the March 15, or what's the next thing they got to do?
Yeah. Hopefully none of our listeners missed the March 15th deadline. If you did, the best thing you can do is, again, don't panic. Is just take action.
Yes.
Either contact your CPA or your tax preparer. If you are not getting any help, again, reach out to us. There's a way to handle that situation, but obviously it requires immediate action.
Hmm.
If the next deadline, now if you did file the extension, then you have until September 15th to complete it. Also keep in mind that if you have any kind of retirement plans, then it gets extended, so you can still fund those let's say, for example, the SEP plan that you might have in your business. You can
Hmm.
still fund it. You still have until September to fund it for 2021. Now,
Yes.
the next one obviously coming up is the April 15th deadline. That's the clock is ticking, is moving in fast. So again, don't get comfortable. Um, and if you're a single member LLC and a sole proprietor, then you have until April 15th to fund your retirement.
Mm-hmm.
And but again, you have the ability then to extend. Just remember that single member LLCs do not file their separate forms. It will roll into their 1040s, and this is something
Yes.
people need to keep in mind. LLCs, March 15th, the two or more partners. LLCs that elected to be an S corp, also March 15th. However, if you are a single member, you did not make any elections, then is April 15th. You
Right.
file as, in essence, it's what we call a disregarded entity. Then it goes to
Right.
1040. You have until April 15th to file that LLC or a sole proprietor in a Schedule C. Then in April 15th, then you have the option to extend that it gives you until October 15th to file.
Absolutely. And again, just a reminder, and I know we've covered this in a prior, very specific episode, but just again, a reminder, when you do file the extension, that's fine. But if you do owe money, you need to pay April 15th.
Good point. Yes, it's an extension to file,
Just to
not
make
an
sure.
yeah, no, it's a good point because even after many years, there's still people do not understand or they have not been educated that it is an extension to file, not an extension to
Right.
pay. So any taxes that you owe should be paid, and I say should because if you cannot pay it, then you'll suffer some penalties and interest. But the goal is that you pay those taxes. Also, C corporations, if you have any kind of C corporations, the deadline is April 15th. So you have until April to file your C corporation. So keep that in mind. And again, yes, extensions are extensions to file.
Yeah, understood. Thank you so much, Pedro. We are at 32 minutes, so we want to be cognizant of our
Yep.
business owners and our audience's time. So again, everyone, I will leave you as always with a quote from a motivational speaker, Jim Rohn. You are the average of the 5 people you surround yourself with. So we hope that me and Pedro are 2 of the 5 people that you are constantly surrounding yourself with. So with that, I wish you a happy St. Patrick's Day, and until next week, have a wonderful rest of your week.
Wonderful. Take care.